What's up everyone, we're back at it again. My name is Brad and welcome back to my channel. Today in this YouTube video, I want to give you an update on 3 of the things that we've done recently on this YouTube channel. A lot of times when we do things such as propping or doing a chop and drop, you see the actual implementation of these things, but you don't necessarily see the updates and the progress that the plants have made after they occur. So in this video, I want to cover the chop and drop that we've done. I also want to cover an update on growing a small plant in a larger pot. And then I also want to give you an update on the Pilea Peperomioides propagation that we also have done recently. So without further ado, let's get to it. If you remember, I posted a video about how to get big leaves on your philodendron and your pothos by a process called chop and drop. Here is what my philodendron looks like about 2 weeks after that chop and drop process occurred. As you can see, the philodendron Brazil hasn't died, which is awesome. You can also see that the philodendron Brazil has started to put on additional growth. So we have a new leaf that has formed here. It's still at an infancy state, which is why it is big, but it's still smaller than the preceding leaf. So I do expect for this leaf to get bigger. We also have growth starting to form on the slower vine here. So all in all, this process has been a success in the sense that the plant hasn't died. And I'm also going to show you what the mother plant looks like as well. And here's what the mother plant looks like. This is the mulch pole that I used to perform the chop and drop and where the chop and drop was taken from. So as you can see, here we have the vines that have been topped off because that is where we did the chop. And from these vines, you can see that we do have new growth starting to form, which is what we would expect. These new leaves that are forming from the nodes are most likely not going to be as big as the preceding leaf. What we can do here is we can basically add a mulch pole extension and we can do a reset, if you will. So we can allow for this philodendron Brazil to continue to grow vertically, but again, the problem will be that you will need a mulch pole that's 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet tall in order to get those big vibrant leaves that you see a lot of the times. So again, the chop and drop process was a success. The mother plant is still alive and doing well. And the top that I performed the chop and drop on is also continuing to grow. So that is awesome. I'm so happy. Honestly, I don't think I would have done anything differently. And if you have any questions, I'm going to post a video down in the description about how I did the chop and drop process. And I hope that will continue to help you as well. And I hope you'll find that video helpful if that is something that you want to do. If you like videos like this and want to see more videos about houseplant tips and tricks, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. It's totally free and would mean a lot. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. I want to give you an update on the topic of growing a small plant in a big pot. So here's my scadapsus that I used for this experiment. This scadapsus had 3 leaves when I originally started, and it was planted in a pot that was full of potting soil. It had no mulch pole at all. As you can see, I have since decided to put a mulch pole on this particular scadapsus. The mulch pole will help in aiding for the leaves to get bigger, and also this is how I like to grow my vining plants. I like to grow them vertically. So I added the mulch pole strictly for aesthetic purposes. As you can see, the leaf has essentially fully matured. But not only that, I have another leaf that's starting to emerge as well. As you can see right above my thumb here, we have a sprout. So this experiment is going pretty successful. Again, I just wanted to show and share that you can grow a small plant in a larger pot. The key really is to make sure that you don't super saturate the soil because it can cause root rot. You want to really concentrate your water around where the root ball is, and that will help aid in reducing the chances of that root rot occurring. So all in all, I say that this experiment has also been a success so far. The plant is growing beautifully, and I can't wait to see what the next few weeks have in store for this particular scadapsus. Awesome. Propagating the Pilea Peperomioides was a very popular video that I did as well. In that video, what I did was I took a mother plant and I took the pups from that mother plant and I showed how the process of propagating those pups would go. Here's the mother plant. So as you can see, the mother plant looks very good. It's still growing very strongly and it's still producing and growing like crazy. I have additional pups that are still growing from the main stem. As you can see, if you look very closely, you'll see all of this green growth that's coming from the stem. These are additional pups that are growing that I can maybe in the next couple of weeks pinch off and propagate, or I can allow them to grow from that main stem just to see what it looks like and to see whether or not visually if I like it. So the mother plant looks great. There's no death at all, and it's still growing very strong, very strong. Here's one of the pups that I've potted. The pup itself has put on about 3 new leaves since the propagation took place. So it has rooted well, and I think that this pup is going to make it, and hopefully it's going to look just as big and beautiful as the mother plant. Here's the second pup that I propagated. This was one of the bigger pups that I potted, and it's put on 1 new leaf since the propagation took place. And that 1 new leaf is right here, basically the smallest leaf. So it has started off a little bit more slowly, which is to be expected because I was keeping this inside, but I have since placed this outside so I can get some more vigorous growth before the end of the growing season. So this pup, I think, is also going to make it, and it's also going to be just as beautiful as the mother plant. Here's the final pup. This pup was the smallest of the 4 that I attempted to prop. It has put on about 2 new leaves, so I have 1 small leaf here, and I also have a little tiny leaf that's just emerged right there. It has started off more slowly than the first pup that I showed you, but I too think that this will become a big, beautiful Pilea Peperomioides, just like the mother plant. I'm going to start putting this one outside as well, just to see if I can have it or allow it to catch up to the first pup that I showed. And hopefully I can get some more vigorous growth before the end of the growing season. In that Pilea video where I was showing the propagation process, I had pinched off 4 pups. I only potted 3 of the 4. The reason why I potted 3 of the 4 really came down to how many pots that I had available at the time. So while the 4th pup did have roots on it, I ultimately had to retire that pup, and I didn't pot it at all. But the 3 pups that I have now, I think are beautiful, and I think that they're going to make wonderful pottings that I can put all throughout the house. I want to share a new plant that I've added to my collection. It looks a little rough. This plant was basically a rescue that I got from Walmart. It was a very good price. And because of that, I decided, why not? Let's just see what happens. So I want to provide some context for you before I share it. So here's the newest plant to my collection. This is Philodendron White Knight. When I first got this plant, the plant was in a very soggy medium. So I had to completely change the soil of this particular plant. And it also gave it a moss pole so it can have some additional support. Since doing that, this plant has begun to put on an additional or 1 new leaf. The new leaf looks stunning. As you can see, it's almost a half moon. We have the white forming on the right side of the leaf, and then on the left side of the leaf, we have green with some white speckling. I'm going to continue to monitor this plant. I'm going to water it with some water amended with silica, hopefully to keep that white as long as possible. And I'm going to continue to really nurture it to see if I can get this Philodendron White Knight to grow just as well as my other plants. So I'm happy to share this with you, and we'll take this journey together of seeing how big and beautiful this plant can get. Thank you so much for watching this video on updates to the previous plantings that we've done. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.